Hello everyone, hope that you're all home and safe and well and keeping as busy and active as you all can do. This is a short little video that I've just put together about my warm-up routine that I do religiously now every time I go climbing, and pretty much also every time I ride my trials bike as well. I put a little post on Instagram up about this, saying that it's the kind of thing that people like me have to do when you're like 33 and you've got a sort of bit of a wrecked heap of a body like I do, and you need to do warm-ups in order to make sure you get the most out of this. But a lot of people also pointed out that whatever age you are, warm-ups are really helpful. And I will also say that for people who are wanting to get into climbing particularly, there aren't many like super secret tips and tricks with any sport really, about how to get better at it. But I would say that an effective warm-up can make anything, I would say anything close to 50% of the difference between how you climb that day or how you ride your bike or anything else like that really. When I was a teenager, I used to be able to just jump on my trials bike and go and side hop up huge stacks and lines and things, but otherwise, like nowadays, I jump on a bike and it takes me like sometimes close to an hour to actually get to a point where I've got to warm up well enough that I can ride at my kind of top level, and that's just a fact of life really. But climbing, you know, young people get this as well as anyone else. You go into a climbing gym for the first time, you jump on a wall, you hang from some really big or really small holds, and then after about 10 minutes, your arms are just absolutely filled with what feels like concrete. And we've all had this before, where your arms just get really pumped up and you can't even like pick up a coffee cup or anything else like that. And the reason for that is because generally you've gone too hard, too fast, too early, which is a bit of a bummer. But if you follow some of the stuff I've done in this video and really warm yourself up, give yourself the best possible chance, then I can almost guarantee that you will be better at climbing, riding bikes, or doing anything else that you want to be going to do. I'm not going to put a lot of technical jargon or anything else in this video. I'm just going to show you some of the things that I do to warm myself up, the things that seem to have worked. If you think I'm not doing anything that I should be doing, or if you think any of the things that I'm doing I could be doing better, please let me know in the comments. I really want to know. I'm not an expert on this. All I can say is that since I started warming up and warming down for climbing, I became a better climber, like exponentially, almost overnight. So this is my warm-up routine. Enjoy. Okay, hopefully I wasn't talking for too long there, but yes, this is basically my warm-up routine, and it's pretty much in real time, so I think this is about 10 minutes long, and that's generally how long I take to get myself warmed up. Pretty much every time I go climbing, and most times when I go riding my bike, I will do some part of this routine in order to get myself nice and warmed up. So starting off with a bit of cardio, skipping. Looks a bit funny if you don't usually see people doing it, but if you go into climbing centres all over the country, you will see people with skipping ropes, jumping up and down, getting their blood pumping. It's just a really nice way to get yourself warmed up without going for a run or anything else if you haven't got a treadmill or lots of space to go for a run. Now I will say that I'm not particularly good at skipping, but that's not really the point. It's just about, jumping up and down, getting the blood moving around your body, and I usually count to sort of 100 skips is my sort of generic warm-up kind of thing, but you can do it for as long or as short a time as you like, whatever kind of works for you. But yeah, I find jumping up and down about 100 times seems to get me in sort of the right kind of place. So following on from that, this is one of the basic exercises I always do, which was given to me by a physiotherapist when I had a bit of a bad back, but I find it's generally really helpful now. The key is to try and basically get your hand that's in front of you to hit your opposite shoulder, and the hand that's behind you to sort of hit above your opposite glute as you're sort of turning and spinning. Again, you look like a bit of a ninny when you're doing this, but it's super helpful for getting your back nice and sorted. Following on from that, again, something you'll see a lot of climbers doing is these sort of arm spins in order to get the shoulder muscles warmed up, and also to sort of like try and fling the blood down to the end of your fingers, really get the blood moving all around your body. That's the whole purpose of a warm-up, is to try and get your blood as warm and as moved around your body as it can be. And there's lots of different ways of doing this. So, you know, I've done the forwards, the backwards. These ones are sort of like opposite ones. So one of my arms is going forward, the other one's going backwards, which is also quite fun to help with your sort of coordination and stuff like that. But yeah, any of these kind of arm movements are really, really helpful for, as I say, warming up shoulders, wrists, elbows, and well, your whole body really. Okay, now moving on to the basic stretching side of things. Now, I try and sort of combine as many elements as I can to sort of, you know, maximize the amount of time. So starting from the bottom, as you can see, stretching out all the muscles in my legs, my hips. You know, with climbing, you do a lot of movements where your legs have to be quite far apart, so it's helpful to do that. What I'm doing with my hands is I'm trying to push the palms of my hands down in order to stretch the ligaments underneath my wrists and the inside of my arms. Again, super important with climbing, and I'll probably do this same movement, so pushing my hands up and down quite a lot like this in sort of the prayer and reverse prayer positions throughout the climbing session. And also, as you could see earlier, I was just sort of rolling my head and neck around there to warm that up as well. Doing a little bit of a forward bend here just to stretch my back out. But again, basic stretching like that just to help things get nice and loose. This is a really nice little move here as well that I learned from some yoga practice a while ago. Again, your wrists are going to be taking a huge amount of the strain here, so really helpful to get them warmed up. Now, if you're anything like me, then you've probably got a bad back. And so as part of my warm-up, I always try and get my back as sorted out as I possibly can. I remember watching people in school doing these kind of warm-ups where they sort of like grind the hips around and thinking it looked really stupid, but now I have to do it all the time in order to try and get my back in as ready a shape as I can for whenever I'm about to go out and ride or climb or anything else like that. A few nice sort of forward, back and side bends there in order to, as again, just stretch out all the discs in my back and get the muscles all nice and warm. Again, very basic sort of yoga moves here, and then also I think going into a little forward fold. Amazingly, at 33 I can still just about touch my toes with my legs straight, but yeah, so anything like this to stretch out as much as you can will be really helpful and will do a lot to prevent injuries. Okay, so just about the only other physical prop apart from a skipping rope that I use for my warm-ups, these are called TheraBands. Now, I have been using these resistance type bands for a while. I use them to sort of help open my chest up a little bit, like with the sort of movement I'm doing here, and I also use them, or have used them, when I was recovering from shoulder injuries and rotator cuff problems that I had in the past. This particular move here, really good for stretching your shoulder out, which is yeah, another really great way of warming up. They're only really worth using, I think, if you know exactly what it is that you're targeting, and there is a wealth of information on the internet about how best to use resistance bands. So yeah, have a look, do some Googling, see what exactly it is that you want to achieve, and yeah, give them a try. Alright, now this move is something that I usually actually do with my arm against a wall to help me balance, but I'm trying to do it here out in the open, which is really fun as well. And it's basically just high kick. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to kick my fingers that I've got out there in front of me. And this is doing quite a lot of things actually, like the skipping and the jumping up and down. It is helping to get the blood pumping around and everything. It's also doing a lot to help stretch out all the ligaments in my legs, my back, and everything else that is going to be used quite a lot. There's various different ways of doing this, but generally I try and sort of do about 10 of these high kicks with each leg, and then I sort of swap over and try and do the other leg, and then try and do them rather than just forwards and backwards, also trying to do them to the left and to the right. It's as you can see, quite fun trying to actually do it just standing still, And what that also does, the added benefit of that, is it helps your ankle and your knee and everything else that's in the leg that's still on the ground to build its little balancing muscles and abilities. So yeah, give this one a go. If you can't do it the way that I'm doing it, I mean, I'm not exactly doing a sterling job of it there, but yeah, try holding onto a wall if not. Okay, so that was basically my entire warm-up, but now as an extra little bonus, what I'm actually going to show you now, this is what I generally do when I'm warming down. Now, warming down I generally spend a lot less time on, but it's just, I always find it's good to do something at least after I've been doing some exercise, just to yeah, push the body back into shape. And what I usually do is about 10 press-ups, as you can see I'm doing here, plank for about 10-15 seconds. God, I used to be able to do plank for like a minute or 2 minutes or something like that, but I'm just terrible at them. And then a few basic yoga poses like the sort of cat-cow and the child's pose and sort of the cobra. Now, there's some really good scientific explanations as to why warming down after exercise, especially like climbing, is really important and really helpful. But basically, in the most simplified terms I can put it, if you've spent 1 or 2 hours pulling on something, it's good when you finish to just do some push-ups and some other moves like this in order to let your muscles kind of reset. I don't know if that's true, if it's just a really convenient sort of lie, but either way, it makes sense in my head, and it's always been really helpful to me. So yeah, that's my warm up and warm down basically. If you've got any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below. Otherwise, do like and subscribe to this video, because there will be numerous more coming out soon, hopefully, of sort of climbing techniques and other such things like that. Again, I hope you guys are all doing really well and looking after yourselves as best you can in these strange times that we're having at the moment. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you soon.